When I got saved, I was in a little tiny church, and I sat there and I accepted Jesus. I don't even know that there was an altar call, but every week I would go. And the missing link for me was no one ever came up to me and said, is there something going on? And when I got plugged in at Valley in a life group, that made all the difference. It was the connections, and I started growing and I started really learning. And so because that was such a deficit in my life early on in my walk with the Lord, I knew that that was important to give that to the girls that God had brought to me.
So when I first started going to Valley Baptist, I didn't want anything to do with the church. I didn't want anything to do with the life groups, anything at all. And then I was starting to be forced to go to the life group with Kurt and Kelly, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to be there. So when I went into the class, I kind of just stood in the back the whole entire hour, I think it was, and I would not talk to anyone. So my first year or so, I was just mad. I didn't want to be in that classroom at all. And then as the years went on, I just think it changed, because now I just really fell into the whole class because people were patient with me and they showed me what it was like to love Jesus Christ.
A couple weeks ago, Kurt had taught the lesson, and it was Who's Your One? And there was a note card assignment at the end. And so they were supposed to write their testimony in 2 sentences.
We had a little note card thing that it was write down, now that you're saved, what are some things that you like about it? And I was like, well, I'm not saved, and I wish I was. I wish I could love service. I wish I could love coming to church without feeling like I was dragged here or anything.
And she gave me her card, and it said that she didn't know Jesus, or she wasn't sure. And so that I knew we needed to have a conversation, so we had dinner that evening.
When we were eating and stuff, we were talking about it, and she asked me, so how do you know that you're not saved? And I said that I just have never felt that I've been saved. I've always been scared to pray and scared to read a Bible. And so we prayed and we talked about everything about how I felt, and feeling saved is not, you're not supposed to feel saved, you're saved. And then as soon as I prayed with her, I asked God to be my Savior, and I started to cry because I knew that oh my gosh, my life is changing forever. And I was so happy.